Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. Today we're going to be talking all about Breadtalk,
Breadtalk.
and we've got this fascinating document
Oh, cool.
all about this company and all the things that they do.
I love Breadtalk.
And it's making me so hungry reading about all these different breads that they make. And so, just to kick things off, have you ever heard of a bakery that makes bread that looks like tigers?
I have. I have actually seen some of their creations.
Amazing.
It's pretty wild what they do with bread. It's not just your average loaf.
Well, that's a good segue because
Okay.
I was going to ask you to kind of give us a little background on Breadtalk. Like, where did this all begin?
Yeah, so Breadtalk is actually a homegrown Singaporean brand.
Okay.
It was founded in 2000, and what's really impressive is how quickly they've exploded in popularity across Asia and even into the Middle East.
Really?
Yeah, they've got outlets all over the place, and it's quite a success story for a brand that's relatively young.
Yeah, that is pretty impressive, especially for a bakery. I mean, like bakeries, they've been around forever.
Yeah.
So for something to just pop up and take off like that, there's got to
Yeah.
be something special about them.
Mm.
So what's their secret sauce?
Well, I think one key ingredient is their focus on innovation and style.
Oh,
They're not just baking bread, they're creating an experience. And that's something that really sets them apart. I mean, you walk into a Bread Talk, it's not your typical bakery.
in what way?
Well, for one thing, a lot of their locations have open kitchens.
Oh,
So
interesting.
you can actually see the bakers at work, you can see the process of the bread being made, which I think is really cool.
I mean, I guess it's kind of like that transparency thing. It's like you
Yeah.
know exactly what you're getting.
Yeah, exactly. And I think especially when it comes to food, people are more and more interested in knowing where their food comes from, how it's made.
Absolutely.
And Bread Talk really plays into that by, having that open kitchen concept.
So it's that freshness. It's like,
Uh,
you're getting it straight from the oven.
Exactly. And it's not just about the actual freshness of the bread, but it's also about the visual experience. Seeing the bakers working their magic, it kind of adds to the whole ambiance and it makes you appreciate the craft even more.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I feel like, with a lot of bakeries, you just see the final product. But here you're actually seeing the whole process from start to finish.
Right. And it's like a performance almost.
And it's almost like you're part of the process.
Yeah.
Like you're seeing it come to life.
Exactly.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So speaking of, what you see and how it looks, their bread designs are amazing. Have you seen the Floss series?
Oh, yeah. The floss breads are incredible.
Yeah. Tell me about those.
So it's this fluffy bread with like a creamy mayonnaise topping.
Okay.
And then they just pile on this mountain of sweet and savory floss.
What kind of floss are we talking about?
Well, they have a bunch of different varieties. The original is pork floss.
Oh.
But they also have a spicy fire floss for those who like a little kick. And then they also have chicken floss for halal options.
So they've got a variety for everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds so unique. I never even heard of floss on bread before.
Yeah, it's definitely not your typical bread topping, but it works so well.
Do you think that's kind of tapping into that Asian street food culture
Hmm.
a little bit?
Yeah, I think there's definitely an element of that. It's taking something that's very familiar and comforting, like bread, and then combining it with these unique Asia flavors and snacking traditions.
Like that sweet and savory thing.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
very popular.
And the floss craze isn't limited to Asia anymore. It's really starting to gain traction globally.
I mean, it makes sense. I feel like,
Yeah.
people are always looking for new and exciting flavor combinations.
Yeah, and floss is one of those things that once you try it, you're kind of hooked.
It's unique.
Yeah.
I can see that. I can definitely see that.
Mm.
So speaking of, unique flavor combinations,
Oh.
let's talk about the golden lava bun because this one just sounds incredible to me. I mean, salted egg yolk is something that I usually associate with savory dishes,
Right.
but they've turned it into a sweet, molten filling inside a bun.
I know it sounds crazy, but it's actually brilliant.
Really?
It's like this perfect blend of sweet and savory.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And the name Golden Lava, I mean, it just evokes this sense of excitement
Yeah,
and
thank you.
anticipation. Like you just know it's going to be good.
Oh, yeah. It definitely makes you want to try it.
Yeah.
So would you say that this is a good example of their fusion approach?
Absolutely. It's taking a traditional Asian flavor like salted egg yolk and then giving it a modern twist.
It's innovative.
Yeah, and they're using these modern baking techniques to create these really unique textures and flavors.
So they're not afraid to push the boundaries a little bit.
Not at all.
That's really cool.
Uh,
So we've got sweet, we've got savory. What about cheesy?
cheesy.
They have to have something cheesy.
They definitely do.
Tell me about the earthquake cheese bread.
Okay, so imagine this. You've got the soft, doughy bread,
Okay.
and it's filled with not one, not two, not three, but four different kinds of cheese.
Oh, wow.
It's like a cheese lover's dream come true.
So they really went all out on that one.
Yeah, they did not hold back on the cheese.
I mean, it sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I can just imagine the cheese like oozing out.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely an indulgent treat.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't love melted cheese?
Exactly. It's one of those things that's just universally appealing.
Yeah, I feel like Breadtalk really knows how to cater to our like indulgent side.
Oh, for sure. They know what we want.
So they've got sweet, they've got savory, they've got cheesy.
Mm-hmm.
What about something a little lighter?
Oh, well, for that, they have the Hokkaido snow bun.
Oh, okay, tell me about this one.
So this one is inspired by the famous milk from Hokkaido, Japan.
Oh, cool.
So imagine this light and airy bun
Okay.
filled with this creamy milk custard. It's just so delicate and delicious.
Oh, it sounds refreshing.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit of a departure from some of their more decadent offerings.
Ooh.
But it plays into that whole trend of Japanese-inspired desserts and that idea of lighter, less sweet treats.
So they're really paying attention to kind of the global dessert trends.
Oh, absolutely. They're always on top of what's new and what's popular.
And it makes sense. I mean, people's tastes are constantly evolving.
Yeah, and they're always looking for something new and exciting.
Exactly. So we've talked about floss, we've talked about lava, we've talked about cheese, we've talked about Hokkaido milk. What about something a little spicy?
Spicy.
I see spicy curry chicken bun on the list.
Oh.
Tell me about this one because this sounds intriguing to me.
So this is a savory bun,
Okay.
and it's filled with this flavorful, spicy curry chicken filling.
So it's like curry in a bun.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, that's a combination I haven't encountered before.
Yeah, it's definitely unique.
Really cool.
Mm.
So they're really not afraid to kind of play with flavors and ingredients.
No, they're very adventurous when it comes to their creations.
So from floss to lava to curry. It's quite a range. Breadtalk definitely isn't shy about, kind of pushing the boundaries a little bit.
No, they're all about innovation and excitement.
So I'm curious, what else have they got cooking?
Oh, they have plenty more up their sleeve.
Really? Like what?
Well, let's just say that their signature breads are just the tip of the iceberg.
Okay. I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
All right, well, let's dive into some of their other creations.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Okay, so one of their other signature breads that I just have to mention is the Crouching Tiger Hidden Bacon bread.
What?
Yeah, you heard that right. Crouching Tiger Hidden Bacon.
That's the name of the bread.
It is, and it's just as amazing as it sounds.
Okay, I'm very intrigued. I need to hear more.
Okay, so first of all, visually, it's stunning.
Okay.
It actually has this, like, tiger pattern on the crust.
No way.
Yeah, it's incredible. And then inside, you've got these crispy bacon bits and cheese.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing.
It's so good.
So they're not just playing with flavors, they're like playing with the look of the bread, too.
Oh, absolutely. They are all about the visual appeal.
That's really cool. I mean, I feel like that's so smart these days, with everyone on Instagram and social media.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Food has to be Instagrammable.
Exactly. And this bread definitely is.
Oh, yeah, that tiger pattern. I mean, come on.
That's next level.
It's so clever, and it's just so much fun.
It's like they're tapping into our inner child or something.
Totally.
Hmm.
It makes you want to try everything just to see what they've come up with.
All right. So, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Bacon. We've got that one down.
Yeah.
What else is on this list of amazing breads?
Okay, let's see. Oh, this one sounds intriguing. Spring in the City.
Spring in the City. Okay. I like the name.
Yeah, it's a good one.
What is it?
So this one's a bit of a fusion creation. It's got ham mayonnaise and spring onions all baked in.
Oh, interesting. So it's savory.
Yeah, it's savory, but it's also got this nice freshness from the spring onions.
Okay, so it's not too heavy?
No, it's actually quite light compared to some of their other breads.
That sounds really good.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm loving how they're kind of like balancing all these different flavors and textures.
Yeah, they're really good at that.
And, it's not just about the bread itself. It's like the whole experience they're creating.
Exactly. And that's what makes them so special.
Like we were talking about before with the open kitchens.
Mm-hmm.
It's that transparency. It's like
Yeah.
you can see the care and the craftsmanship that goes into making each loaf.
Yeah, you can really tell that they're passionate about what they do.
And I think people appreciate that.
Oh, for sure. I mean, in a market that's so saturated with bakeries, they've managed to create something truly unique.
Yeah, they've really found a way to stand out.
And it's not just a gimmick. It's like they're genuinely committed to quality and innovation.
So they're not just selling bread. They're selling an experience.
Exactly.
And people are buying into it.
Yeah.
I mean, they've expanded way beyond Singapore.
Oh, yeah, they're a global brand now.
So I'm curious, how have they managed to translate their brand across different cultures?
Well, I think one of the keys to their success is their ability to adapt
Okay.
while they stay true to their core values of innovation and quality. They're also really sensitive to local tastes and
Well,
preferences.
how so?
Well, for example, in some regions, they offer halal options,
Okay.
or they might incorporate local flavors into their breads.
So they're kind of like customizing the experience a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. They're making sure that their brand is relevant to a global audience.
That's really smart. I mean, it's like they're taking this Singaporean brand and making it accessible to everyone.
Exactly, and I think that's a big part of their appeal.
I wonder, though, do you think there's a risk of losing that Singaporean identity as they expand?
That's a good question.
Mm.
I mean, it's definitely something they have to be mindful of.
Yeah, because, they're known for being this like Singaporean bakery.
Right.
But as they become more global,
Hmm.
I mean, how do they hold on to those roots?
Well, I think they're doing a good job of staying true to their heritage.
Yeah, okay.
They continue to introduce new creations that reflect the diverse culinary landscape of Singapore.
Okay.
And they often highlight their Singaporean roots in their marketing and branding.
So they're kind of like celebrating where they came from.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's really important. It gives them a sense of authenticity.
And it sets them apart from other global brands.
All right. It's like they have a story to tell.
It's more than just bread.
Exactly.
So they're striking that balance between global appeal and local authenticity.
It's a delicate balance, but they seem to be doing it well.
I mean, it's impressive. It's not easy to do that, especially when you're dealing with something as universally loved as bread.
Yeah. I mean, everyone loves bread.
It's true.
Right.
It's a staple food all over the world.
But Breadtalk has managed to elevate it to something really special.
I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
They've taken something simple and familiar and turned it into something truly unique
And delicious.
and delicious.
Can't forget that part.
Absolutely not. So as we've been talking, I've been thinking about the cultural impact of Breadtalk.
Oh, yeah.
It's more than just a bakery, right?
It's definitely more than just a bakery.
It's like they're a culinary ambassador for Singapore.
I think that's a great way to describe it.
They're showcasing Singaporean creativity, innovation, and, of course, their love for good food to the world.
And they're doing it in a way that's so approachable and fun.
Yeah, it's not intimidating at all. It's just like, come on in and try some delicious bread.
And let's have some fun with it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they're breaking down barriers through bread.
It's the universal language.
It really is. It makes me think about the power of food to connect people across cultures.
Mm-hmm.
We all understand the language of a good loaf of bread.
Even if we don't speak the same language, literally.
Right, exactly. It's like a
It-
shared experience.
It brings people together.
And Breadtalk is kind of like facilitating that connection.
Yeah, they're showing us that we can all appreciate a good loaf of bread no matter where we come from.
And they're also showing us that you can honor tradition while still pushing boundaries and embracing new ideas.
Exactly. They're not afraid to experiment, to play with flavors and designs.
And that's what makes them so exciting.
They're always keeping us on our toes.
So this has been an eye-opening deep dive for me. I've learned so much about Breadtalk,
Me too.
and I'm feeling inspired. What stands out to you as the most remarkable thing about them?
I think for me, it's their ability to tell a story through bread.
Oh, I like that.
They're weaving together threads of culture, innovation, and artistry.
It's true. You can see all of those elements in their creations.
And it's all done with this sense of passion and joy.
I couldn't agree more. It's amazing how they've managed to capture the essence of Singapore and share it with the world one delicious bite at a time.
It's a pretty incredible story.
It really is. All right, well, let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back and talk about some of the key takeaways from this deep dive.
I'm still thinking about that tiger bread.
Yeah, the crouching tiger hidden bacon.
It's wild.
It's so creative.
It really is. It's amazing how something as simple as bread can be so fascinating.
I know, right? It's like we've just scratched the surface of what's possible. Exactly, and I think that's what makes Breadtalk so special. They've really tapped into something deeper.
Yeah.
It's not just about the bread itself. It's about the experience, the emotions, the connections.
Totally. I mean, think about it. The smell of fresh bread baking, it's universally appealing.
Oh.
It evokes feelings of warmth, comfort, nostalgia.
It's like a sensory experience.
Exactly. And Breadtalk takes those primal instincts and elevates them by
Yeah.
adding this layer of visual delight and excitement.
So like they're taking something that we already love and they're making it even better.
Exactly. They're saying, hey, we know you love bread. but wait till you see what we can do with it.
And they're not afraid to push the boundaries.
Nope, not at all.
Like those molten salted egg yolk buns. I mean, who would have thought of that?
It's brilliant.
It really is. And I think that willingness to experiment, to have fun with food, it's infectious.
It is. It's like they're inviting us to play along.
And I think that's why they've been so successful, especially with younger generations.
Yeah, they're not looking for just a basic loaf of bread.
They want something more.
You want an experience.
And Breadtalk delivers that experience on so many levels.
Visually through their unique designs.
Through the aromas that fill their stores.
And of course through the taste of the bread itself.
Like a symphony of senses.
And don't forget the element of surprise.
Oh yeah, with their seasonal and limited edition offering.
Yeah, exactly. You never know what they're going to come up with next.
It's like they're always keeping us guessing.
And coming back for more.
Which is a brilliant strategy.
It is. It keeps things fresh and exciting.
So they've got the delicious bread,
the visual appeal,
the element of surprise.
But they're also savvy business people.
Right. Like with their open kitchen concept.
Exactly. It's not just about transparency.
It's about showcasing their craft.
Building trust with customers.
You can see the bakers working their magic.
It's like a performance.
And I think that level of transparency is so important these days.
Especially in the food industry.
People want to know where their food comes from.
How it's made.
And Breadtalk gets that.
They're not just selling a product.
They're selling a story.
A story of quality, authenticity, and a passion for baking.
And that story is resonating with people all over the world.
It's a powerful story.
It really is. So what can we learn from Breadtalk's success?
Well, I think there are a few key takeaways here.
Like what?
First, don't underestimate the power of tradition.
Okay.
Bread is a staple food that's been around for centuries.
Right.
But Breadtalk has found a way to make it fresh and exciting again.
By
honoring the tradition, but also adding their own unique twist.
So it's about finding that balance.
Exactly.
Yes.
Second, embrace innovation.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to experiment with flavors, designs, formats.
Push the boundaries.
Exactly. The food world is constantly evolving.
And if you want to stand out, you have to be willing to try new things.
Exactly.
All right, what's the final takeaway?
Remember that food is more than just sustenance.
Okay.
It's an experience.
It's a way to connect with people, to share stories, to create memories.
And Breadtalk understands that.
They've woven that understanding into the very fabric of their brand.
It's what makes them so special.
I think you're right. So to wrap things up, I think we can all agree that Breadtalk is more than just a bakery.
They're pioneers.
They're innovators.
They're artists.
And they're sharing their love of bread with the world one delicious bite at a time.
And inspiring us all to think outside the loaf.
I love that. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into the world of Breadtalk.
It was my pleasure.
And to all of you listening out there, keep exploring the delicious world of food.
And never be afraid to try something new.
Until next time, happy eating, everyone.